Good morning, friends, and happy Thursday. I'm Xavier, and it's time for the Morning Roundup. I do this little newscast Monday through Friday, and I try to pull the stories that have more of a spotlight for the Black community, and I try to do it in under 10 minutes. Today is Thursday, November 17th. Here's today's news just for you. First up from San Diego. A federal judge on Wednesday granted the Biden administration a 5-week delay to end far-reaching asylum restrictions, writing in uppercase letters that he was doing so with great reluctance. U.S. District Judge Emmett Sullivan acknowledged in his brief order that attorneys for asylum-seeking families didn't object to the delay and that the administration wasn't challenging his decision, just asking for time to prepare. The Trump-era policy denying migrants rights under U.S. and international law to request asylum on public health grounds of preventing spread of COVID-19 is now set to end December 21st. Sullivan ruled in Washington on Tuesday that enforcement must end immediately for families and single adults, calling the ban arbitrary and capricious. The administration has not applied it to children traveling alone. Within hours, the Justice Department asked the judge to let the order take effect December 21st, giving it 5 weeks to prepare. Plaintiffs, including the American Civil Liberties Union, didn't oppose the delay. The ruling appears to conflict with another in May by a federal judge in Louisiana that kept the restrictions. ACLU attorney Lee Gellernet said Sullivan's order renders the Louisiana ruling moot. If Sullivan's ruling stands, it would upend border enforcement. Migrants have been expelled from the United States more than 2.4 million times since the rule took effect in March 2020. The practice was authorized under Title 42 of a broader 1944 law covering public health. Nationalities that are less likely to be subject to Title 42 have become a growing presence at the border, confident they will be released into the United States to pursue their immigration cases. In October, Cubans were the second largest nationality at the border, after Mexicans, followed by Venezuelans and Nicaraguans. The Homeland Security Department said on Wednesday that it would use the next 5 weeks to prepare for an orderly transition to new policies at the border. Next, from Arizona. An Arizona man convicted of murdering 2 people in 1980 was put to death Wednesday in the state's third execution since officials started carrying out the death penalty in May after a nearly 8-year hiatus. Murray Hooper, 76, died by lethal injection at the state prison in Florence for his murder convictions in the killings of William Pat Redmond and his mother-in-law Helen Phelps at the Redmonds home in Phoenix. Redmond's wife, Marilyn, also was shot in the head during the attack but survived and testified against Hooper at his trial. Authorities say that the killings were carried out at the behest of a man who wanted to take over Redmond's printing business. Hooper's death was announced by Frank Strada, a deputy director of the Arizona Department of Corrections, Rehabilitation, and Reentry. Arizona did not carry out the death penalty for nearly 8 years after criticism that a 2014 execution was botched and because it encountered difficulty obtaining lethal injection drugs. No other executions are currently scheduled in the state. Arizona now has 110 people on death row. Hooper was executed within a couple of hours of the U.S. Supreme Court rejecting a last-minute appeal from him over his claim that authorities had until recently withheld that Marilyn Redmond had failed to identify him in a photo lineup. The High Court made no comment in rejecting his appeal. Authorities said that the claim was based on a mistake a prosecutor made in a letter to the state's clemency board and now insists that no such lineup was shown to Marilyn Redmond. She later identified Hooper in an in-person lineup. Hooper's execution came the same day that Stephen Barbie was set to receive a lethal injection in Texas for the February 2005 deaths of Lisa Underwood, who was 34, and her son Jaden. That would be the 15th execution in U.S. this year, up from last year's 3-decade low of 11. Next up, from Las Vegas. The rapper Blueface was arrested Tuesday in Las Vegas on suspicion of attempted murder. Blueface, who is 25 and whose real name is Jonathan Porter, is suspected in an October 8th shooting. Details about the shooting were unavailable, and there was no online record yet as of Tuesday evening. Porter is currently in the Clark County Detention Center. His record label did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Blue, Blueface is known for his rapid conversational rapping, and he gained national attention with his top 10 hit, Tatiana. Well, thanks so much for watching. I know it was kind of short, but that's all we had. And I'll see you tomorrow. Keep up with me on Instagram at the Morning Roundup. I also have another show called The Black Case Files where I do more of a deep dive on murders, mysteries, conspiracies, and history, focusing on people of color. I will also start adding some news, in-depth stories on there as well. That show is always linked below. Well, thanks so much for your time, and I will see you tomorrow, friends. Bye.